Students, this is a very quick demonstration how to import footage into Premiere Elements 15 and create your very own video. The first thing we need to do is to load up the software. So you should have installed the software by now, and if you go into the Windows menu and just start typing in Premiere, you're looking for Adobe Premiere Elements 15. So we'll click on that and it will give us our welcome screen. So when you start Premiere Elements 15, you've got a few options. You can actually use it many different ways as an organizer, a photo editor, and also as a video editor. And this is how we're going to use it. So if I click on this down arrow, you can open or create new projects, and any recent projects that you've got will also appear in this menu. So we're going to go with the new project option. Okay, so this is our workspace for Premiere Elements 15, and at the moment we are in what's called the quick mode, and we've also got guided and expert. So depending on what you're trying to do, you can switch between different modes and layouts using these quick buttons at the top. So as we begin, we're going to first of all save our project and give it a name. You can see over here it says My New Video Project 1. So if we click on the Save button, we're instantly taken to a folder where the files go. So it's in Documents, Adobe Premiere Elements 15. You could of course change this, but I'm going to call this Example and hit Save. So you can see this now has been renamed, and that's always the first thing we should do before we start working with any footage at all. So here's our way of working. We've got an Add Media button here, so I'm going to click on that, and you've noticed the panel has slided down to the left here. So we're going to get videos, photos and audio files from our computer's hard drive. You can also plug in cameras and devices such as phones and get them directly using these other methods. So I'm going to go Files and Folders, and in my downloads I've got some simple video files that we can play with. So I've selected each of those using the Control key, and I'm going to open. So this is adding the media, and you can see it's been instantly added to our timeline. And if I was to start playing it, you can see that it's quite rough video, and that's because it's playing the video at a lower resolution, and that means that it's not as sharp as your final production will be. If I just drag my blue marker over here, we can see this blurry office footage. Again, I'll press the play button. And then let's go to our next clip, just dragging that across. This is some drone footage. And finally we have a blurry abstract sequence here as well. You can see in this middle section, this is where our video files go. We can do narration over the top, we can drop in audio clips, and we can also add titles. But one of the most common things that we do is we tend to clip and edit the footage that we bring in first. So in this instance here, you can see when I click on the clip itself, we get these small little handles to the left and right. And so I can click and drag to the left, and that will trim the end of the clip, or I can click and drag at the front, and that will trim that end of the clip. So you can see how by simply clicking on our clips and dragging to the left and right, we're able to just make some minor trimming adjustments, as they're called. Another thing that we commonly do is we split clips. So say this is a long clip and we want to take the second half of this coffee footage and put it at the end. So what we do there is we place our marker, our red marker, anywhere, and you'll notice this little pair of scissors. When I click on that button, it has cut that clip in half. So now I can click on it, pick it up and drag it into the space that I want it to go. So if we go back now, you'll notice that that clip, let's hit our play button, goes straight from that footage. This is the point where it was cut. And now if I drag our playhead over and hit play again, we're going to notice that it's going to pick up on the second half of the footage that we have cut from the left hand side. So that's another really useful tip, being able to clip your footage. Now, It's very hard to see what's happening in here. We've got a very shrunk down timeline. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to zoom in. You can see that there's some great shortcut keys. We've got equal and we've got the minus key. And so you'll see them in the top right of your keyboard. So if I click on this, it's going to expand our timeline. And why would you want to do this? Because it makes it easier to set these split points in your footage. It's also easier to do really fine-grained adjustments to trimming the way the clips merge together. Trim away any dead sections of our footage that we want to get rid of in our production. So if all we want to do is simply bring in our clips, trim them, split them, and rearrange them, then we've completed that to this point. And this is a good place to finish this first video. What do we do now? Quite simply, we go over to Export and Share. And here we're asked, what do we want to do? Here we'll be giving our final file a name and choosing a destination. And this will be the best option, the quick export, because MP4 files are easy to watch on most devices. You can even preview it just in here in this little preview window. And then when you're good to go, you hit save. If you want to though, you can also choose from a range of simple through to advanced options. So say you want your video to go up to a 4K display, you can choose that option here and work your way through these other options. That's computer, we've got TV, very similar. Mobile, we've got lower resolutions here, and you can also set them entirely based on your own custom settings. When you click on online, you'll be offered YouTube, Facebook and Vimeo as export options, and when you go through these options it'll ask you to sign in and to link or allow your device and this software to communicate with these different social media platforms. And then you've got some other basic export options if you just want the audio or still image files as well. However, most of the time we'll simply be using quick export because it works and it's simple. You do a quick preview here, you save to a location, give it a file name, and then hit the save button. From there you'll see the file rendering and you'll be shown where the final output is. So that's the basics. That's how we bring in clips, how we split clips, how we trim them, how we change the order of them, and then finally how we export and share them. So good luck with this first stage of your video editing.